Hey guys, Jason here. Welcome back to Donut Films. Today I'm going to be reviewing She-Hulk, Attorney at Law Episode 1, A Normal Amount of Rage. This might seem a bit out of nowhere for me to start reviewing She-Hulk, of all things to review, but actually not really, because She-Hulk is probably my most anticipated Marvel show that was ever announced at Comic Con 2019 when they first started announcing Phase 4 and they showed She-Hulk. I was like so excited, like, oh my god, they're finally bringing another Hulk into the MCU. That's gonna be crazy. And literally, like, no one was talking about it. Everyone's like, guys, they're bringing Blade in. Oh my god. Yeah, so I've always been excited for this show, ever since they even showed the title. I remember the original title for the show. It was just called She-Hulk, and they had that really cool like spray painted logo. And then a year later, they changed it to just She-Hulk with this bland, fucking grey looking, lazy title. But then they changed it back recently this year to She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, which is like just okay. That was kind of unnecessary. You could just call it She-Hulk and use the original logo. But anyway, let's get into the episode. The episode starts off with her breaking the fourth wall. Well, it makes you think that she's breaking the fourth wall. Jennifer Walters, she's a lawyer, and basically she's practicing her speech to all of her friends. Two of her friends who like are barely even in the episode. They're just in the opening, and then you never see them again, which is like, thank God, because I know in the later episodes they're going to be so annoying. I thought episode 1 was just going to be introducing Jennifer Walter, her job, and her friends, and then near the end she gets her powers, and then episode 2 is when she starts training with Bruce. But it's actually a lot more different. It cuts straight to the action. We cut to a flashback of her and Bruce, and we find out that Jennifer Walters can break the fourth wall. She's like, yeah, I can. I'm a Hulk. You know, at the start of the episode when I was just talking to the camera, yeah, that was supposed to be misleading, but yeah, she actually can break the fourth wall, which is kind of a weird way to reveal it. Why would you mislead the audience and then say, "No, just kidding. I can actually break the fourth wall." That was kind of weird. But anyway, we go to a flashback of her and Bruce in the car in a car ride to somewhere. They don't really say anything. It's actually a pretty short scene of them in the car. Jen basically starts making a joke about Captain America being like a 100-year-old virgin, which is like kind of a bit too late to do that joke. I mean, people have been making that joke for like a decade now, and they just expect us to laugh when they introduce it in like a show 10 years later. It's kind of, yeah, I don't know. I didn't find the joke funny. It was like, all right, come on, let's move on. It's not that funny anymore. People have already made so many jokes about that. But we also get a reference to I think Oscar Isaac because of that famous photo of him holding Cheetos and chopsticks with a beanie on, and everyone goes crazy over that photo for some reason. It's like, okay. We also get to see Mark Ruffalo in human form because of Shang-Chi. Remember in the after credit scene where he was just a human out of nowhere because I guess they didn't have the budget. I guess they already finished the movie. So basically, the show is kind of trying to explain why he was a human. He had like a wristband on, but that doesn't really matter because it gets broken like less than a minute later because of a car crash they had with a bad, like a really bad CGI ship comes down out of nowhere in the front of the road. It looks really fake. If you thought Miss Marvel's CGI was bad, you haven't seen anything yet. It was like this really shit Zakar bullshit ass ship that comes down in the middle of the road out of nowhere. Like how'd they not see that? Anyway, in the car crash, Jennifer gets a cut on her left arm, and then she pulls Bruce out, who also just so happens to have a cut on his left arm, and his blood starts dripping into Jennifer's cut. And then he's like, "Oh, look, stop! Oh, my blood's dripping. Leave me alone. Leave me alone." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. So that's kind of how his DNA got into hers. Because in the comics, I'm pretty sure she was just shot for being a lawyer, and then Bruce like deliberately gave her the DNA. But in this show, it's a bit different. I guess if you got a retcon, you got a retcon, I guess. But she gets the powers straight away. Straight away turns into Hulk. Just a tiny bit of blood dripping into her bloodstream makes her go green straight away. She hulks out. We barely see anything. It's really weird how they do that, but basically she goes to a bar and this group of girls find her like, oh my god, are you okay? And then they dress her up, give her makeup, and then she sees a group of guys come to her, and then they're being all like pervy and shit. I'm like, seriously, this feels like Patty Jenkins wrote this. They're showing how nice the girls are and how mean the boys were. It's like men bad, women good. Like that was kind of weird, but luckily it didn't last long because she turns into the Hulk and then just kind of bitch slaps them away. And then she runs away, and then she passes out again for the second time, and we find out that Bruce kidnapped her. Yeah, that's right, kidnapped her and took her to a beach. Then we see CGI Hulk for the first time in the episode, and yeah, it's obviously not as good as the movie because it's a TV show budget, but it was just really weird Not only because the CGI wasn't that good, but it was weird seeing him talk to Jennifer. Like it cuts to a human and then back to a cartoon, and it just looked really weird. And also the acting wasn't that good either in that scene. But anyway, they start arguing about some bullshit. One of many arguments they have in the episode. I forgot what they were arguing about, but then she was like, "All right, let's start training or something." So then she gets put into this facility. We've all seen it in the trailer. Basically, she pushes it back, and then she turns into the Hulk. And then they realize that she doesn't have like it wasn't a Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde type situation. It's just one personality. She's not split down into angry side, happy side type bullshit that the Hulk has. We also find out that the thing that was keeping Hulk in human form was the arm bracelet, and that just got broken somehow, and he can't repair it. Then we start getting a training montage with that you've all seen in the trailers. The trailers spoiled it all. Yep, she's better at him that's at some stuff, but who cares? I can already tell that people are gonna get angry over that scene, but I don't care. Then the rest of the episode is really fucking boring. They start arguing, they do training, arguing, training, and then near the end of the episode is where they get into a big fight. We see the differences in their powers, and yeah, they get into a bit of a tussle and they start fighting, and then they destroy some shit. And then Jennifer's like, "All right, I don't want to be a hero anymore. Bye. See you later." And then we cut to the future, to present day at the courtroom for some like trial. I don't know what it was. They didn't really explain it. And then this random chick just comes into the room like, "Hey, I'm a bad guy." And then we have this really, really awful, shitty edited scene of her fighting him, like the lady, then punches him, then throws a desk. Like I could not tell what was going on there. That was really, really bad how they filmed that. Anyway, then the episode ends, and then yeah, that's basically it. We get a fucking predictable last after credit scene, and that's not funny at all. All right, that's that. That was episode one. I hope you guys enjoyed my review. Comment down below if you think I should do more, even though no one's gonna comment because no one ever does.